In this video, we're diving into the story of the biblical giants, their origins, their impact on the world, and their eventual downfall. We'll explore how these mighty beings came into existence, how they spread corruption across the earth, and how their story is interwoven with key moments in biblical history. If you find this topic intriguing, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. The origin of the giants. The story of giants begins with the Nephilim, mentioned in Genesis 6 verse 4.
The Nephilim were on the earth in those days and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown.
The term Nephilim translates to giants, and their creation is often thought to result from the union of divine beings and human women. This view is supported by texts like the Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish text attributed to Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah. According to this tradition, angels known as the Watchers became infatuated with human women and taught them forbidden knowledge, leading to the birth of these giants. Another theory proposes that the Nephilim were actually the descendants of the Canaanites. After Cain killed his brother Abel, God cursed him and marked him to prevent his murder. Genesis 4 verses 15 to 16 states,
But the Lord said to him, Not so. Anyone who kills Cain will suffer vengeance 7 times over. Then the Lord put a mark on Cain, so that no one who found him would kill him. So Cain went out from the Lord's presence and lived in the land of Nod, east of Eden.
Cain's descendants, the Canaanites, intermarried with other bloodlines, possibly leading to the Nephilim's resurgence after the flood. According to this theory, the bloodline of these giants persisted through the wives of Noah's sons, who were not pure of blood. The Nephilim and the flood. Despite the flood intended to cleanse the earth of wickedness, it is believed that the Nephilim survived in some form. This view suggests that the giants' genetic code was preserved through the wives of Noah's sons. The giants did not disappear entirely, but continued to influence the world. The giants in the Promised Land. The next significant mention of giants occurs in the Book of Numbers. The Israelites, led by Moses, were journeying from Egypt to the land promised by God. In Numbers 13:28, the scouts report,
But the people who live there are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. We even saw descendants of Enoch there.
The Anakim, descendants of Anak, were noted for their enormous size, said to be a remnant of the pre-flood giants. Numbers 13 verses 32 to 33 continues.
And they spread among the Israelites a bad report about the land they had explored. They said, The land we explored devours those living in it. All the people we saw there are of great size. We saw the Nephilim there. The descendants of Anak come from the Nephilim. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them.
The Anakim were believed to be descended from the Nephilim and were described as towering over others, consistent with the giants reported before the flood. This led to widespread fear among the Israelites, who doubted their ability to conquer the land. Joshua and Caleb's faith. Despite the fear, 2 of the 12 scouts, Joshua and Caleb, trusted in God's power to overcome the giants. Their faith stood out in stark contrast to the others. Numbers 14 verses 6 to 9 recounts their plea.
Joshua son of Nun and Caleb son of Jephunneh, who were among those who had explored the land, tore their clothes and said to the entire Israelite assembly, The land we passed through and explored is exceedingly good. If the Lord is pleased with us, he will lead us into that land, a land flowing with milk and honey, and will give it to us.
However, the Israelites' lack of faith led to God's anger, resulting in their wandering in the desert for 40 years. Only Joshua and Caleb from the original generation were allowed to enter the Promised Land. The battle with Og of Bashan. During their wilderness journey, the Israelites faced another giant, King Og of Bashan. Og was described as one of the last of the Rephaim, giants mentioned in the Bible. Deuteronomy 3 verse 11 says,
Og king of Bashan was the last of the Rephaim. His bed was made of iron and was more than 13 feet long and 6 feet wide.
Og's enormous size and his role as the king of 6 fortified cities highlighted his status as a giant among giants. God assured Moses that Og and his people would be delivered into the hands of the Israelites, and so it came to pass. After Og's defeat, his land was conquered and occupied by the Israelites. The Philistine giants. Fast forward to the period of King Saul, the giants still made their presence known. The Philistines, who were likely descendants of the giants, camped in the valley of Elah. They were led by a giant named Goliath, who taunted the Israelites for 40 days. The challenge of this giant would eventually be met by David, a young shepherd from Bethlehem. David's encounter with Goliath is one of the most famous stories in the Bible. Goliath, described in 1 Samuel 17 verses 4-7 as being nearly 10 feet tall and heavily armored, challenged the Israelites to send out a champion to fight him. David, a young shepherd, volunteered to fight Goliath. Despite Saul's initial reluctance, David convinced him by recounting his previous victories over lions and bears, attributing his success to the Lord. David's faith in God led him to fight Goliath with only a sling and a few stones. 1 Samuel 17 verses 45-46 records David's declaration,
You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and I'll strike you down and cut off your head.
David's victory over Goliath was a powerful testament to the strength of faith in God. He defeated Goliath with a single stone, and then cut off the giant's head, symbolizing God's power over the giants. The story of giants in the Bible reflects their role in spreading corruption and evil across the earth. From their creation through forbidden unions to their ultimate downfall, giants represent the defiance against God and the chaos that ensued. Despite their size and strength, they could not withstand the power of God. The defeat of giants, whether through the flood or through heroic figures like David, demonstrates the ultimate supremacy of God's will. David's victory over Goliath symbolizes the triumph of faith and divine strength over earthly might. This story not only highlights the biblical account of giants, but also underscores the overarching message of divine protection and justice. If this story has intrigued you, I encourage you to explore the Bible for more on this subject and related topics. Your comments and insights are welcome, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to help support the channel. God bless and see you next time.